So you all heard the news about Turtle WoW being essentially defeated by Blizzard. Now, I haven't really heard anything about it yet, so I really wanted to check out this video because this guy actually makes some pretty great content. I've watched some videos from him previously, and I don't know, let's see what the hell is going on because I love Turtle WoW dearly. It is a game that is very important to me because it reminded me what World of Warcraft used to be like and what it could have been if Blizzard were actually competent.
What's up, amigos? It's your boy Tello, back to another video for today. Now, this video is not going to be too crazily edited. I just want to get to the point and talk to you guys about the Turtle WoW situation because it's finally come to a finalized standpoint. And if you guys remember, we covered a lot of the Blizzard versus Turtle WoW court cases a couple months ago, where we were talking about everything that was going on case to case and all the updates we were giving you. And it seems like a person on Reddit was talking about the Discord going wild for Turtle WoW, talking about the settlement coming to a conclusion, and even some websites have shown this as well, coming to some type of settlement agreement that Blizzard has reached with the project developers, including Josiah Simmer and AFK Crafted Limited, which, if you guys don't remember, AFK Crafted Limited was basically the storefront that they used on Turtle WoW to fund money through, to basically launder the money to. And now the settlement is basically...
Damn, I actually didn't know that. I gotta admit.
...in agreement, which remains confidential, by the way, to resolve this legal dispute and include any other potential parties who have not been formally identified in the proceedings, to have not yet testified. They have 60 days to stay within these proceedings and finalize the case by June 8th. Now, this is a couple months before BlizzCon, obviously in September, but the court is found favor in Blizzard in multiple counts and ordered the defendants immediately to cease any activities related to these private servers. Now, I'm reading this obviously from this website, but I wanted to make sure that...
So basically Blizzard can target Turtle WoW directly because they are beyond their jurisdiction. So what they do is essentially create a ring of fire around them where they have no allies, no ways of earning money, no ways of communication, and basically just, kind of make them just go in a puff of smoke, right? They're choking them, essentially.
This was legit because every piece of information that I got from this entire case was found on Court Listener. If you go to just the main point of the article where this entire document stands, it started in August 29th in 2025. So we were covering this a couple months ago. We were giving the updates on each and every video, Blizzard versus Turtle WoW, Blizzard versus the players and the people. And ever since then, we scrolled down, we've gone through all the updates, and we look all the way to the finalized case, and we can see here, the final date, April 10th, 2026, a settlement was made. And we look at the main document,
but it seems
like this is 100% legit, and they have until June 8th, which they are keeping basically the case open. If there are any other parties over the next several weeks, they can take actions against. But yes, come June 8th, it seems like that is the deadline, either sometime before or at that point. Turtle WoW will cease to exist in the near future. Now, what does this mean for many of the people who've been playing Turtle WoW?
Yeah, save your tears. You're about to have some more later. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. But we expected that. We expected this to happen. I think anyone who didn't see this coming is delusional. We all knew that Blizzard was going to win that case. There is no way that a private server is ever going to take, Blizzard IP and, the government and the court would be fine with it. Of course Blizzard would win. It was just a matter of time. Now, it's only a question if whether Turtle WoW would find a way to exist alongside Blizzard IP or not. Personally, I think not, because Blizzard would literally never let that happen, because Blizzard is an incompetent company that could never make something on par with Turtle WoW. So what they want to do is copy Turtle WoW and seize their assets and essentially just turn it into garbage later, right? Because right now Turtle WoW is good. The moment Blizzard takes over their assets back, oh yeah, it's gonna be bad. It's not going to be as good because Blizzard lacks direction and vision, right? So it's just really gonna go off the rail. I can promise you that.
A lot of these players who, played Turtle WoW, they played it because they were fans of Classic and they only wanted to see more things.
This was such a good dungeon. I have a video of it on my channel if you want to check it out later. It's such a good dungeon.
Added to the world of Azeroth. They wanted to see their favorite game continued upon. And a lot of people's hopes and wishes are for Classic Plus. I think the only positives that we can even look outside of this is that we hope that Blizzard takes some of the ideas of Turtle WoW and implements it within Classic Plus, because more than likely that can happen, right? Where Blizzard just takes all these assets, put it into Classic Plus, and then claim it for their own.
But they could have done it for the past decade, and they didn't. Because they're incompetent. They cannot push this patch through, right? They would never do it. They would never do it. Because they could have. They had the power to do so. And they never did. Because they're, again, like, I'm not going to repeat myself over and over again for a millennia. They are literally incapable of creating something good. It's not the Blizzard that we knew and loved. It's not. All they can do is create another plushie for you to purchase for your house inside of a video game which you're already paying subscription for. And box price. That is the only thing they're capable of doing nowadays.
And they might just do that. And
that and cube crawling.
People will still play it, and
also fridge rating. You're right, I forgot.
They will still consume it because that's just the Blizzard player base, right? They're going to see the product, they're going to play it, they're going to have fun, including myself. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to play Classic Plus, and I'm going to see if this is worth it or not. And I'll see if they take in a lot of inspiration from Turtle WoW, because they had a lot of good ideas. Say what you want about Turtle WoW. You can call them, thieves. You can call them everything under the sun, and I'm not saying you're wrong on that. But Turtle WoW had a lot of fun stuff added to their game, and there was a lot of cool dungeons, a lot of new areas that were very genuine.
Yeah, it's going to be like Hasbro took over 5e, but worse. Exactly, because Blizzard would have something good in their hands, and they wouldn't understand what to do with it. They're like, okay, we copied it, cool. So you have a good game right now. How are you going to continue it, right? Because people would eventually be tired of, this version of the game. They would want something new. They would want an expansion. What are you going to do? Which direction the game is going to go now? Blizzard won't know, because they won't have the answer. They can only take something good and corrupt it.
Into the world of Azeroth, and the endgame was really cool too. From what I've heard, a lot of people...
What are we watching? We're watching Turtle WoW essentially being defeated by Blizzard, and they only have until June to exist, essentially. So, yeah, that's what we're watching right now.
Who've been raiding in Turtle WoW, and a lot of the tier pieces that they worked on, the cosmetics that they worked on, looked really cool as well. So we'll see if any inspiration is going to be taken from TWoW whatsoever. But this is basically it, guys. It's unfortunate that it had to come down to this. I always imagined a world where, companies can work with private developers, kind of like a 5M style thing.
Brother, we're talking about Blizzard here. Are you saying... What do you think? Who are you talking about? Like, oh, we're gonna absorb the small guy that took our IP, and yeah, you know what? We're gonna add him into our game. No, son, that's old Blizzard. That's what Blizzard did with EverQuest back in the day. You had Jeff Kaplan from EverQuest. You had all the higher-ups literally playing EverQuest hardcore raiding, okay? And that game was hard. Have no mistake about it. So... you had all Blizzard doing exactly that, and that's why World of Warcraft used to be so great, but now it's the complete opposite. Everyone who speaks against the king must perish, and Turtle WoW went directly for their king. Exactly for their head, and now Blizzard just gonna take a shot back. They're gonna clap them into oblivion, and there's going to be nothing left. And they're gonna seize their assets too, which I guess is fair, because, again, I want to make this one more time absolutely clear. I'm never going to advocate for private servers. I truly wish that Blizzard was competent enough to give us the Turtle WoW experience, or something that is even better than that, but I just don't believe they can do it.
Except TWoW did it differently, and obviously they didn't go through the 5M route. They just went straight to taking the asset route and just making their own thing out of a game that's already being actively updated and worked on. With all that being said, in a way, I'm going to miss seeing what Turtle WoW had to offer, because it truly was the hidden Classic Plus that...
Oh wait, Blizzard and Turtle WoW have reached an agreement, so it's from both sides. So they actually spoke, and... they're gonna seize their activity. Oh my god, wow. Okay, yeah, so I guess it's over. I guess it's over. There is no more Turtle WoW. Damn, that's sad. That is actually sad. I wish that wasn't the case. It actually makes me really, really sad, because I was planning on creating maybe another character. I really wanted to play a shaman tank. It looked like so much fun with shocks and stuff. Because, they reworked the entire talent tree to actually make sense on, like, Classic WoW, so... I don't know. It just is such a damn shame. But maybe something good will come out of this, because I heard a pretty strong rumor that Blizzard is supposed to announce Classic Plus on September, if I'm not mistaken. So If that is true, Turtle WoW would 100% have a hand in that. I really hope they would hire the developers to just work for them. I really hope so. If it would be the case, I'm going to return full-time to World of Warcraft. More than likely. Well, to be fair, Guild Wars too, because it's horizontal, so why not? But I'm going to play a lot of WoW. That's for sure. Let's see. I didn't catch up on the comments. Sorry, guys. I missed some. Did I hear Turtle WoW made some new dungeons? Yes. They made not only new dungeons, they've completely reinvented existing ones. So the Deadmines is not as you remember it. They changed a lot of stuff. Nomegon isn't the same. They changed stuff. No, maybe Nomegon is one of the ones they actually kept intact. No, they actually changed it. I think they added another boss. But Deadmines is completely different. What else was different? What else were, like, all the dungeons, Wailing Cavern one different. Literally every single dungeon got at least an update. At least another one new boss and a new area inside of it.
Because it truly was the hidden Classic Plus that was not supposed to be shed to the limelight of the masses, and a lot of people played this version of the game because they just wanted to see something come out of the original version of the product, but stayed within the realm of Azeroth. That was the whole point of Turtle WoW in its existence. And it does suck to see the creativity of them get basically shut down completely. But at the same time, obviously, this is Blizzard's property. I get it. And they have every right to do what they please when it comes to their intellectual property. It's
100%.
Their assets. They don't want to be losing, possible IP law issues, which then can go to an entire new court case for those who don't understand law.
So just make something good. Gabe Newell said it the best. If you want to defeat the pirates, just give the people a better product than they offer. It's so simple. Just do it. You could have created Timber Mahal. You could have created the vaults, Stormwind vaults. You could have created all of the dungeons that Turtle WoW invented and just made them by yourself. And you could have made them even better. But you chose not to because you're lazy and incompetent. Instead, you gave us Season of Discovery, which was trash. Nobody liked that. The people who played it are already addicted to World of Warcraft and were like, oh wait, they changed the smallest thing ever. It completely mattered. Like, no, it's literally just rehashed version of Classic WoW. It's not the same as Classic Plus. For the love of God, please understand that.
If they allow Turtle WoW to continue to operate, that puts their IP in jeopardy of many other private servers who then can take advantage of their IP while it is active under Blizzard's corporate ladder. Like, you can't do that. It's pretty obvious at that point. You wouldn't want to run a store and then have a storefront being called your name and then have 12 other storefronts with the same name and then just stealing your product. Like, I get that.
Honestly, it's a lot like Nintendo is acting with Palworld. 100%. You are 100% right about that. I actually really like that comment because Nintendo sat on Pokemon for years, but not for years, for decades, without doing anything similar to Palworld. I don't know why. People have asked for this, I think, since the dawn of men. Ever since 3D gaming was introduced into humanity, people have wanted that. And they never delivered. I don't know why. And the moment Palworld came out and they've seen the response that people had, I think it had like 2 million concurrent players on Steam on launch day, which was insane. I've never seen these numbers for an indie game. Okay? It was really crazy. It literally broke my mind when I first saw it. So I think when Nintendo saw it, they were like, damn, we gotta seize that crap.
At the same time, the other storefronts, not gonna lie to you, we're doing a really damn good job. And
yeah, I heard Pokemon Champions were
with delivering
really bad.
A really good version of Classic, which we can call it a certain form of Classic Plus, right? People.
No, it's rehashed garbage. Literally don't.
People clinged on to that. They wanted to be a part of the hype. That's why Blizzard was concerned within these documents that they were making hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not close to millions, under a private server. And Turtle WoW, one of the biggest private servers ever, to be honest with you, in terms of revenue, in terms of growth, in terms of how many people were joining the Discord. You had content creators starting to cover it, even myself, and come to the conclusion that Turtle WoW is going to have to shut the doors down and Blizzard's going to eventually lead into the future with a Classic Plus, which we all hope and pray that it is fun and enjoyable and something that is really exciting to be a part of. And I'm also going to be looking forward to and paying a lot of attention monitoring Classic Plus come that time to see if they did indeed take any type of inspiration from TWoW, any type of dungeon content, zones, structuring, quest layout, any type of ideas that Turtle WoW might have had, because a lot of that happened.
No, because let me tell you something. If Blizzard is going to make Classic Plus, I'm going to have a lot more expectations because it's their IP. If, you know, Turtle WoW was a private server, so we got a really great experience, but it was flawed in many ways. But nobody cared because, you know, it was free, right? It's a private server. But if I'm going to pay you monthly subscription, you have to provide me great content. Blizzard would have to go above and beyond to make sure that I'm engaged inside of their Classic Plus experience. They're not gonna make it just like Turtle WoW. They have to make it better. And that's what I hope people understand. Because Blizzard has responsibility. It's their IP, 100%. Granted, you always have responsibility, right? Because Uncle Ben said it the best, with great IP comes cringe.
Especially with Season of Discovery, where we saw a lot of similarities to Turtle WoW and many other private servers that Blizzard used in Season of Discovery to call their own, or at least to mimic something from a private server that had a lot of close-like inspiration to what these private devs were doing. So I'm going to keep a keen eye out for this, because that's something that I'm very curious about come the future of everything. With that being said, guys, that concludes the entire series that we did for Blizzard versus Turtle WoW. It seems like it's a GG's in the gulag for TWoW at this point. Blizzard has won, and we just go from there. If you guys want to talk about more stuff in the future when it comes to what ifs and hypotheticals, if Blizzard will take any content idea from Turtle WoW and call it their own, or just try to add it to Classic Plus, we'll see what happens in future videos and maybe talk about it on stream or something of that nature. But with that being said, that concludes this series. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Let me know your thoughts and comments below, and much love to you. Lock it in, amigos.
Damn. I mean, yeah, it's such a damn shame. Great video, by the way. Obviously, I'm going to leave a link in the description. You guys should watch it for yourself. He's such a fantastic guy. I actually love his content a lot. But it's so sad to see Turtle WoW gone, right? I really wish Blizzard would absorb the original crew into their crew, and they make Classic Plus great together. And they give them way more resources. Now they operate legally, and they can just explode, right? They can go berserk on World of Warcraft ideas. I truly wish to see which turn the story takes, because obviously if you played Classic, you know there are a lot of loose ends, because you know the Ashbringer quest is probably one of them, the corrupted Ashbringer quest. So I really wish to see that implemented inside of the game and stuff like that, and maybe the story taken on a different turn, because you know the current day retail story is really bad, to say the least. So maybe it's a fresh opportunity for all to just do something different. Also, I really wish they use the the new engine. I don't want the outdated one, even though I do like the feeling of playing on it, because, you know, it's gonna remind me of the good old days. But at the same time, I really like the new engine because it provides way more options in terms of quest, gameplay, etc. So it's really just better to have it on the new engine. That would be nice. But I really wish to see Blizzard actually making a good Classic Plus experience. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to be bad right out the gate. I guess we have to wait and see together. But one can only pray.